Charlie Munger's famous quote, "All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there," may sound like something from a comedian, but it actually reveals a lot about his way of thinking. This seemingly simple quip is a perfect example of Munger's genius. He focuses on avoiding mistakes rather than aiming for perfection. By carefully considering what could go wrong, he ensures he stays out of trouble. It's a philosophy that cuts through complexity, making it both profound and practical. Munger is best known as Warren Buffett's right-hand man and the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. While Buffett gets the lion's share of the spotlight, it's Munger's sharp mind and unconventional thinking that have helped shape their multi-billion-dollar empire. As Buffett himself puts it, Charlie's the best 30-second mind in the world. But there's more to Munger than just business. Born in Nebraska and trained as a lawyer, he served in World War II before embarking on a career that would eventually make him one of the most respected investors of all time. The book Poor Charlie's Almanack, edited by Peter Kaufman, is a treasure trove of Munger's wisdom. Kaufman compares Munger to Benjamin Franklin, capturing both his humor and his deep insights. In this video, we'll explore Munger's unique mental models, his strategies for overcoming biases, and the life lessons he's gathered over decades of learning and investing. Along the way, we'll uncover practical advice you can apply to your own life, all while enjoying Munger's signature wit. Munger's view of the world is grounded in one word: rational. For him, rationality isn't just about making logical decisions. It's about seeing the world clearly, without the distortion of self-deception or wishful thinking. He has made it his life's work to strip away the biases and false beliefs that cloud judgment, insisting that understanding reality as it is, not as we wish it to be, is the only way to make good decisions. This approach is central to his philosophy, and it's what has made him such a successful investor and thinker. At the core of Munger's worldview is what he calls his iron prescription, a set of values that guide his actions. He holds integrity, patience, and curiosity in high regard, viewing them as far more important than cleverness or immediate success. For Munger, character is the foundation of everything. He once famously said that envy is the only sin with no fun, a reminder to avoid letting jealousy cloud our judgment and drive us to act in ways that ultimately harm ourselves. His wisdom isn't just about smart investing. It's about living with the right values and making decisions that stand the test of time. Munger's belief in rationality extends to his thinking process, where he advocates for the use of mental models. These models are essentially tools in a thinker's toolbox, drawn from a variety of disciplines: psychology, economics, physics, history, and more. He often explains that if the facts don't hang together on a latticework of theory, you don't have them in a usable form. What he means is that individual facts are like isolated pieces of a puzzle. To make sense of them, you need a framework that ties them together. Without this lattice of interconnected models, you're left with fragmented, incomplete knowledge. One of Munger's key insights is his warning against the dangers of narrow thinking. He often quotes the proverb, "To the man with only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail." This is a call to expand our perspective and avoid using a single lens to view the world. In other words, if all you have is one tool, like a financial model or an engineering principle, you'll try to solve every problem using that same tool, even if it's not the best fit. Munger advocates for using a variety of mental tools, borrowing from different disciplines to get a more holistic view of the problem at hand. To really understand the world, Munger insists that we need to master around 100 mental models, drawn from various fields. These models allow us to see problems in 3D, offering a richer and more nuanced view of the situation. For instance, when solving a business issue, you might combine psychological models to understand motivation, economic models to consider incentives, and mathematical models to assess risk. By bringing these different perspectives together, you get a fuller understanding of the issue, allowing for more effective decision-making. This multidisciplinary approach is key to Munger's success. His secret isn't just about memorizing facts. It's about connecting facts across different fields. Munger is a lifelong learner who reads widely, from the works of Darwin to the histories of great civilizations. He believes that the most valuable insights come at the intersection of ideas, where different disciplines overlap. His approach to learning isn't about becoming an expert in one narrow field, but rather about being a generalist who can draw on diverse knowledge to solve complex problems. It's this ability to make connections that has allowed him to think more deeply and solve problems more effectively than others. Munger's reverence for wisdom from multiple sources also mirrors his admiration for Benjamin Franklin. Like Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanack, Munger's collection of ideas and lessons is a blend of wit, practical wisdom, and timeless advice. Both Munger and Franklin used humor to make their points memorable, showing that good sense, and a little bit of laughter, can often teach more than dry lectures. In the same way that Franklin's Almanack became a guide for generations of readers, Munger's teachings continue to influence and inspire those who seek a clearer, more rational path through life. Our brains, according to Munger, are lazy, not evil. This insight highlights a critical truth. We don't make mistakes out of malice, but because our brains are wired to take shortcuts. Biases like social proof, where we follow the crowd, and consistency bias, where we stick to past decisions, are part of this mental laziness. These biases lead us to predictable errors that we often don't even notice. The cure, Munger insists, is simple awareness. By recognizing these biases at play, we can avoid falling into their traps. One of Munger's favorite strategies for avoiding mistakes is focusing on preventing stupidity rather than actively seeking success. He often says, "It's remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid." The idea is that success isn't just about making the right moves, it's also about avoiding the wrong ones. By paying attention to where we might go wrong, we can save ourselves from unnecessary blunders. This mental shift encourages a focus on error prevention, making it easier to spot danger signs before they become serious problems. A powerful tool Munger uses to think clearly is inversion, a principle popularized by the mathematician Jacobi. In simple terms, inversion means solving problems by thinking backward. Instead of asking, "How can I win?" Munger suggests asking, "How could I lose?" This approach shifts your focus from the desired outcome to the potential pitfalls, helping you identify risks that might not be obvious at first. Munger often brings this idea to life with his classic quip, "All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there." By understanding where things can go wrong, we can make better decisions and avoid costly mistakes. In the same vein, Munger emphasizes the importance of using mental checklists to guide decision-making. He regularly asks himself, "Are my incentives aligned? What could go wrong? And what's the opposite view?" These simple questions act as a safeguard against rash decisions. He likens this process to a pilot's pre-flight routine, where every step is double-checked to ensure safety. Just like a pilot wouldn't take off without reviewing all the factors that could lead to a crash, Munger believes we shouldn't make big decisions without a thorough mental check. To illustrate how these mental tricks work in practice, consider an investor who ignores the hype of a booming market. Instead of getting swept up in the excitement, the investor takes a step back and asks, "How could this fail?" This is a classic example of inversion in action. By considering the downside first, the investor avoids the common trap of buying into a bubble driven by herd behavior. Recognizing the risks before diving in gives the investor an edge, enabling them to make more rational choices and avoid disaster. Another central idea in Munger's thinking is the role of incentives. He famously said, "Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome." This simple truth underscores how powerful incentives are in shaping behavior. When incentives are misaligned, it can lead to corporate scandals, unethical behavior, and poor decision-making. Munger's point is that understanding the incentives behind a decision, whether personal, corporate, or societal, gives you a clearer understanding of the likely outcomes. For example, if a company's executives are compensated based on short-term profits, they might engage in risky or unethical behavior to meet quarterly targets. Recognizing these incentives allows you to predict the actions people will take and assess the risks involved. Munger also highlights what he calls the Lollapalooza effect, which occurs when multiple biases combine to create a powerful force. In situations where greed, herd behavior, and confirmation bias all come together, market manias can erupt. We've seen this in history with stock market bubbles, where irrational exuberance takes hold, and people pile into investments based on nothing more than hype. Recognizing these biases early on, especially when they start to interact with each other, can help you avoid being swept away by the tide. Munger's emphasis on identifying and managing these biases early is crucial in preventing catastrophic mistakes. Humility plays a key role in Munger's worldview. He often mocks his own mistakes, not as a way to diminish himself, but to make complex ideas more relatable and accessible. Munger is open about his imperfections and his own mental missteps, saying, "I'm just like everyone else. I have an erratic brain." This playful honesty is part of what makes his teachings so effective. He doesn't present himself as a perfect guru, but as someone who has learned from his mistakes and is willing to share those lessons with others. It's this combination of humility and humor that allows his deep ideas to resonate with people from all walks of life. The takeaway from Munger's philosophy is clear. Before making big decisions, it's essential to pause and reflect on the biases that might be influencing your thinking. Whether it's social proof, overconfidence, or confirmation bias, Munger's advice is to clean your mental windshield before driving forward. By questioning our assumptions and asking ourselves which biases might be clouding our judgment, we can make more informed, rational decisions. This simple act of self-awareness can be the difference between success and failure. At the heart of Munger's philosophy is an unwavering belief in the duty of lifelong learning. For him, learning isn't just a choice, it's a moral responsibility. He often reminds us to spend each day trying to be a little wiser than you were when you woke up. This daily commitment to improvement, no matter how small, can have a profound impact over time. Munger's insistence on constant learning is not about acquiring knowledge for the sake of it, but about cultivating wisdom through consistent, incremental growth. Munger's passion for reading is one of his defining traits. Warren Buffett has often spoken about how he and Munger spend their days reading. "We just sit and read all day." This habit of relentless reading is key to their success. As Munger put it, "In my whole life, I've known no wise people who didn't read all the time. None, zero." For Munger, reading is more than just a way to pass the time. It's the foundation of wisdom. Through books, he gains access to the ideas of those who came before him, learned from their triumphs and mistakes. His reading habit, combined with his discipline, helps him accumulate a vast wealth of knowledge, one page at a time. The idea of incremental growth is central to Munger's thinking. He sees wisdom as something that compounds, much like interest in a bank account. Each day, by learning just a little bit more, you are adding to a growing pool of knowledge. Over time, these small improvements add up, creating exponential growth. Munger's philosophy is clear. Progress doesn't have to come in giant leaps. It's the small, consistent steps that eventually lead to profound change. Just as a small amount of interest compounds into significant wealth, small daily learnings accumulate to create a well-rounded, deep understanding of the world. Munger also believes that curiosity is key to maintaining this lifelong learning. Intense interest in any subject is indispensable, he says. It's not enough to learn just for the sake of learning. You need to have a genuine passion for the subject at hand. Curiosity fuels long-term commitment, and it's that passion that keeps learning fresh and exciting. Munger urges us to find what excites us and dive into it deeply. Whether it's history, economics, or psychology, pursuing subjects that naturally spark interest leads to more meaningful and lasting knowledge. And when you're genuinely interested in something, it's not just easier to learn, it's more enjoyable. Through reading, Munger has developed friendships with the eminent dead, the great thinkers from history who have shaped our world. He has learned from Franklin, Darwin, Lincoln, and countless others. He says that reading lets you time travel with geniuses, allowing you to connect with minds that have shaped the course of human thought. It's a powerful way to learn from those who have already thought deeply about the things that matter. By reading their works, Munger essentially extends the bounds of his own mind, gaining insight from individuals who may have lived centuries ago, but whose wisdom is still relevant today. Of course, knowledge isn't valuable unless it's applied. Munger takes lessons from a wide range of disciplines and integrates them into his own life and work. A principle from physics might improve a business model. A lesson from biology could lead to a new insight in investing. Munger's genius lies not just in what he knows, but in how he applies that knowledge across domains. It's this ability to connect ideas from disparate fields that gives him a unique perspective and allows him to make better decisions, whether in business or in life. For viewers looking to embrace Munger's philosophy of learning, the takeaway is simple. Build the habit of micro-learning each day. You don't have to read hundreds of pages or listen to hours of podcasts. Small, consistent actions will get you there. Reading just 10 pages a day, listening to one thought-provoking podcast, or writing down one new idea can accumulate over time to form a powerful base of knowledge. As Munger says, success doesn't come from one major breakthrough, but from the daily commitment to learning and improvement. Once you've filled your mind with solid mental models, Munger believes you're ready for one of the most powerful applications of learning, investing. Because, as he often says, investing is just applied rationality. When it comes to investing, Munger and Buffett have a core philosophy that has served them well over the years. It's better to buy a great business at a fair price than a fair business at a great price. This simple principle highlights the importance of quality over the hunt for bargains. Rather than focusing solely on finding undervalued stocks, Munger and Buffett prioritize businesses that are strong, stable, and have a durable competitive advantage. They believe that buying a truly excellent company, even at a fair price, is a much better approach than trying to find a good company at an amazing price, which often leads to taking on unnecessary risk. At the heart of Munger's investment strategy is the concept of the circle of competence. He believes that it's crucial to stay within the areas that you fully understand. If you don't grasp how a business operates or how its industry works, then it's better to stay away. Munger stresses that acknowledging your limits is far more valuable than pretending to be an expert in every field. By focusing on what you know well, you can make more informed decisions and avoid costly mistakes. The idea is simple. Don't waste time on investments that are outside your circle of competence. Another important principle in Munger's approach is the margin of safety, a concept borrowed from the legendary investor Benjamin Graham. This idea encourages investors to always leave room for error when making investment decisions. Munger and Buffett apply this principle by looking for investments that have a built-in buffer, ensuring that even if things don't go perfectly, the investment still holds up. A great example of this is Berkshire Hathaway's long-term investment in Coca-Cola. They bought into Coca-Cola decades ago and held on to the stock, allowing the company's solid fundamentals to carry them through any market turbulence. Their buy-and-hold strategy reflects their confidence in the margin of safety, the belief that a great company will continue to perform well, regardless of short-term fluctuations. Before making any investment, Munger goes through a checklist to ensure he's covered all the bases. This includes evaluating the company's management, their incentives, and the durability of the business model. One of the most well-known examples of this is Berkshire's investment in Geico. Munger and Buffett didn't make their decision lightly. They studied the company meticulously, line by line, to understand its business model inside and out. This disciplined approach to investing is key to Munger's success. Rather than rushing into decisions, he insists on thorough analysis and careful consideration of all factors before making any commitment. Patience and focus are also central to Munger's investment philosophy. He often jokes that the key to wealth is simply to sit on your ass investing. The idea is that making money in investing doesn't require constant action. Instead, it's about waiting for the right opportunity to come along and then making the most of it. Munger and Buffett don't chase every trend or market movement. They prefer to wait for a company that meets their strict criteria, knowing that the best investments are often rare. They're content to let their money grow over time, rather than trying to rush to quick gains. One thing Munger avoids is the too hard pile, problems, or investments that he finds too confusing or complicated. Instead of overcomplicating things, he simply passes on them. This reflects a deep sense of intellectual humility. Munger knows that there's no shame in admitting when something is beyond his understanding. By focusing on what he knows, he avoids unnecessary risk and keeps his decision-making clear and rational. This approach is a hallmark of Munger's mindset. He doesn't waste time on things that don't align with his knowledge or experience. When it comes to business, Munger treats stocks as businesses, not numbers. He believes that in order to make wise investment decisions, you need to think like an owner, not just a trader. This mindset allows him to make decisions that aren't swayed by short-term market fluctuations. Rather than worrying about the day-to-day price movements, Munger focuses on the long-term potential of the company. It's this mindset that has allowed Berkshire Hathaway to thrive over decades, as they treat each investment as a business to nurture and grow, rather than as a speculative trade. The key takeaway from Munger's investment philosophy is to simplify, be rational, and avoid chasing trends. As he puts it, knowing what you don't know is more useful than being brilliant. Recognizing your own limits, focusing on what you understand, and applying a disciplined, patient approach to investing is the key to building long-term wealth. Munger's wisdom lies in the simplicity of these principles, which have stood the test of time and continue to guide investors around the world. Munger's approach to life extends far beyond the realm of finance. He often links rational thinking to personal happiness, asserting that the best armor against misfortune is virtue and good sense. This insight reflects his belief that the key to a fulfilling life isn't about accumulating wealth, but about cultivating wisdom, integrity, and clarity of thought. According to Munger, rationality is the foundation upon which happiness is built because it helps us make sound decisions, avoid unnecessary stress, and handle challenges with a calm and level-headed approach. When it comes to finding joy, Munger offers a surprisingly simple formula. Have low expectations, keep your sense of humor, and surround yourself with love. The first part, having low expectations, might seem counterintuitive, but it's about setting realistic goals and accepting life as it comes. By lowering expectations, we can avoid disappointment and find contentment in the small things. The second part, maintaining a sense of humor, shows how essential it is to laugh off life's little setbacks. Whether it's a missed opportunity or a minor mistake, Munger believes that humor is an antidote to frustration. Finally, surrounding yourself with love, whether from family, friends, or community, adds richness to life that money simply cannot provide. This balance of low expectations, humor, and love is a key ingredient to Munger's sense of joy. Munger is also deeply critical of envy, calling it the stupidest sin. He believes that envy leads to unnecessary suffering and distracts from what truly matters. In a world that constantly encourages comparison, he suggests that practicing gratitude is a far better approach. Gratitude allows people to focus on what they have rather than what they lack. By appreciating life's blessings, we can cultivate contentment and reduce feelings of inadequacy. This mindset, according to Munger, is an antidote to the modern anxieties that come from constantly measuring our lives against others. Simplicity plays a major role in Munger's lifestyle. He is a firm believer in avoiding excess, whether in material goods, food, or even indulgence. For instance, he drinks water, eats simply, and avoids extravagance. This modest way of living grounds his broader philosophy, reminding us that true fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating possessions or luxury, but from living a life of clarity and purpose. For Munger, simplicity is not just a preference, but a powerful tool for focus and well-being. Munger's generosity is another cornerstone of his values. He has quietly donated millions to various causes, but he does so without seeking attention or recognition. For him, wealth isn't just about personal gain. It's about improving the lives of others. As he puts it, you don't need to be rich to be generous. This view reflects his belief that true generosity comes from a desire to help others, not from the size of one's bank account. By using wealth for good, Munger demonstrates how personal success can be turned into a force for positive change in the world. Family and relationships are central to Munger's worldview. He often speaks fondly of his family and lifelong friends, emphasizing that real wealth comes not from money but from these connections. For Munger, a life well lived is one filled with meaningful relationships, shared purpose, and love. He often reflects on the joy he finds in these bonds, highlighting that they provide the emotional support and sense of fulfillment that material wealth simply cannot match. The takeaway from Munger's life advice is clear. The richest life is one that is rational, ethical, and grateful. By practicing wisdom in everyday decisions, avoiding envy, embracing simplicity, being generous, and fostering meaningful relationships, anyone can lead a life that feels truly rich, regardless of how much money they have. Munger's wisdom teaches us that the true treasures in life are found not in wealth, but in how we choose to live, think, and relate to others. Poor Charlie's Almanack goes far beyond the realm of financial wisdom. It's about adopting a mindset of clarity, constant learning, and practical living. Munger's ideas are not confined to investing. They extend to how we approach life, decision-making, and personal growth. The essence of his philosophy lies in simplicity, learning to think clearly, avoid common mistakes, and continuously refine our understanding of the world around us. Reflecting on Munger's wisdom, I'm reminded that avoiding stupidity may be the smartest thing we can do. His humor, paired with sharp insight, makes even complex ideas more digestible. He presents deep, profound truths in a way that makes them accessible to everyone, no matter their background or experience. If there's one takeaway to apply today, it's this. Pick a small action to improve your thinking. Learn a new concept, identify a bias that might be clouding your judgment, or try solving a problem by working backward. These small steps, though simple, can lead to powerful changes over time. As Charlie might say, keep learning, stay rational, and when life gets tough, laugh and grab some ice cream. With that, take a moment to appreciate the wisdom and simplicity and start applying Munger's practical lessons to your own life.